schoolgirl invited the whole school to dinner. But when the bill came, she asked me to pay for it. I thought it would make me a poor boy. I'd be humiliated in front of my classmates. But I transferred $100,000 without saying a word. The schoolgirl was surprised. Is this guy a hidden rich kid? Immediately, the schoolgirl dragged me to a designer bag store. I just want to see your sincerity. But there was a sneer in my eyes. Once you ignored me and didn't care about my affection. Now, I'm out of your reach. I was the school's famous bootlicker. After 2.5 years, my girlfriend suddenly broke up with me. I immediately ran to the girls' dormitory to look for her. Even though I'm only a full-grade bootlicker in the eyes of others. But I didn't care about it. I even worked 4 part-time jobs. Just to bring a gift to beg my girlfriend's forgiveness. But her voice kept irritating my eardrums. My ex-boyfriend came to me to get back together. I felt he needed me more. I yelled at you for choosing a playboy over me. You chose a playboy over me. Why is it that with the sound of a siren? My girlfriend got into the passenger side of a luxury car without looking back. The yellow hairs in the car taunted me, as we all know. Mercedes-Benz and low self-esteem don't go hand in hand. Bootlicker, you've got a lot to live up to. There was nothing I could do about it. I can't do anything about it but stare at their backs as they leave. As the ice water poured down my throat, I can't figure out what's going on inside. Why should my heart be let down? Is it wrong to be a bootlicker? Thinking about this, I crushed a mineral water bottle, and if I could please enough. I'm no longer a bootlicker. I'll be the king of the sea. At that moment, a voice suddenly rang in my head. Congratulations to the host for binding the strongest bootlicker system. I looked at the golden panel that suddenly appeared. Unbeknownst to me, there was an angry voice beside me. I don't know when a girl appeared in front of me. A white-haired girl in a bold dress. What's wrong with you? You keep staring at me. I wanted to explain, but her personal information was obvious to my eyes. I didn't realize that just by looking at him, I lost 50% of my favoritism. At that moment, the system prompted me to use the bootlicker system to make the woman's favorability towards the host exceed 95%. If you use the bootlicker system to make the woman's favoritism towards the host exceed 95%, then that woman will become the host's bootlicker. Without waiting for me to think about it, a black card appeared in my hand. Although this $9,000 million can only be spent on women, but 1/10th of the money spent can be transferred directly to my account. When I saw this, I immediately revealed a cold smile. That's good. I'll try it on the woman in front of me. But after I asked him for dinner, Su Lele looked disgusted. As the school's top girl, she's never been short of admirers. The number of guys who like her is as big as 2.5 soccer fields. Today, I'll let this guy make a fool of himself. With this in mind, Su Lele did not hesitate to raise her cell phone and say, I'd like to buy snacks for all the students here. Why don't you pay the bill for me? But just as she was about to watch me make a fool of myself, her cell phone beeped and her wallet arrived. 100,000 yuan at once. There was a brief moment of silence. Su Lele's eyes widened in surprise. This guy with the bootlicker look in front of him. How to look at it does not seem to be able to come up with 100,000 yuan of people. Then Su Lele pushed away my cell phone. You can add my contact information. But you have to go somewhere with me first. Then he took my hand and walked outside. But when we got there, I realized that she was trying to make me look like an asshole. But she was doing exactly what I wanted. Anyway, I was there to test the bootlicker system. But as soon as I walked into the store, a familiar figure attracted my attention. It was my ex-girlfriend, Lin Shutong. She was holding a bag. She was showing it off in front of yellow hair. And the moment she met my eyes, her eyes instantly showed an indescribable emotion. I dropped my eyes forlornly. I liked her for 2.5 years. But he only thought of me as long-term financial security. At that moment, Su Lele deliberately came close to my arms. He glanced at Lin Shutong in a charming manner. Is this your ex-girlfriend? Looks like I came at a bad time. I smiled, but you're just in time. Go and pick out your gift. Su Lele turned to ask the clerk. The spring limited edition bag. Do you still have it in your store? Yes, it's the last one left. But this lady is trying it out. At that, Lin Shutong raised his eyebrows. Who is this woman? But she still has to please yellow hair on purpose. His birthday is coming up. And yellow hair just stared at her. Didn't you just have a birthday? That's a lunar birthday. Do I have a solar birthday? Yellow hair frowned and said, Lin Shutong, you know I don't like materialistic girls. And you're not with me because of money, right? Lin Shutong's face turned pale. Of course it's for the money. At that moment, Su Lele grabbed the bag and was embarrassed. If you don't buy it, I'll take it. I didn't say anything. I took out my black card and paid for it. This made Su Lele's favorability to me soared by 60. I was so happy to see that. At this rate, the schoolgirl won't last more than a few days. The only thing is that the amount of cashback is too small. At that moment, the clerk's conversation entered Lin Shutong's mind. Why do some people seem to be rich? But they are so stingy. You can't judge a book by its cover. Lin Shuhao silently lowered his head. No one knows what he is thinking. While Su Lele is mocking from the side. Some people's judgmental skills are really crap. Then he put his arm around me and said, "Thank you, husband, you're so kind." At that moment, the usually proud Lin Shuhao. Tears began to well up in her eyes. Then she knocked me away and ran out of the house. "You've gone too far." But in my heart there was a cold laugh. Lin Shutong. "We'll be together for a long time to come." At that moment, the system's voice rang in my ear. Lin Shutong is the target of affection. Seeing this situation, I smiled. It's getting more and more interesting. At this moment, Su Lele came up and said, "I did well, didn't I? Where should we go next?" I laughed. "But you can't be satisfied with just one bag, can you? Of course, we'll continue shopping. Soon." Su Lele and I went to all the luxury stores. And Su Lele, who was carrying a big bag. At this moment, his eyes were full of admiration. A man who can swipe his credit card is handsome. But that's not all. As I swiped like crazy, her eyes showed concern. Because if she keeps buying, her room would be too big for her. But what I said next almost knocked him off his feet. "I'll buy you another house." I didn't realize that this would make Su Lele's favor with me decrease by 5%. After all, it's the first time we've met and he's gone to such lengths. There must be some ulterior motive. Seeing this situation, I realized that I think I scared him. After a moment's thought, I walked up and said, "Su Lele, a junior at the art school. Height 165, weight 98. Capricorn, likes to watch horror movies. Afraid to walk at night. In fact, I've liked you for a long time." She froze in her tracks. But that's just the information I read from his panel. I read out of his panel. Then I turned to the clerk and told her to charge a $500,000 membership card. Just give it to him when there's a new model. If you really don't feel like it, you can also give yourself to him. Su Lele pushed me away. But his favorability went up 30%. This action of mine, I attracted a lot of movie admirers. Although he's not a pretty boy, but he's so considerate of girls. I really love him. Su Lele asked if you didn't want to buy some for yourself. I didn't have any money. After all, with this bootlicker system, I can't spend a penny on myself. But the next moment, Su Lele took my hand. "Now it's my turn to give you a gift." As he operated, some never-worn designer labels appeared on my body. In no time at all, the new look of me made his favor rating rise again. So this guy is so handsome after dressing up. Looking at his surprised look, I was a bit embarrassed. Is it weird to dress like this? But Su Lele pressed his fingertips against my chin. "It's not weird. I just think we look good together now." But not even 2 seconds later, he let go of my hand. "I'm so happy today. For a few moments I thought I was in love. I'll see you next time, brother." This woman is quite interesting. She knows how to catch a big fish with a long line. It wasn't long before I returned to the dormitory. But my roommates were surprised by my outfit. After learning that I was dating Su Lele, the school's top girl, the head of the dormitory said bitterly, "You can't even handle Lin Shutong. And you still want to chase the school beauty. Listen to my advice. You can't get hold of this girl." But the next moment, I received a message from Lin Shutong. "If you really hate me, then don't delete it." When I saw the message, I laughed. How can that be? I'm still waiting for you to earn money for me. But his next sentence made me hesitate. She explained that she was with Harry because her mother was seriously ill. She was with Yellow Hair because her mother was very sick and needed money for medical expenses. At that, I transferred the money without saying a word. Meanwhile, in the girls' dormitory, Lin Shutong was looking at her cell phone with surprise. I was just saying that this guy is really rich. The roommate beside me was curious and asked, "Is it that rich guy?" But Lin Shuhao's eyes flashed a trace of loss. "It's my ex-boyfriend. Did I really miss the mark?" Lin Shuhao sent me several messages one after another, and asked me what my relationship with Su Lele was. But what she didn't know was, now she is in my eyes. In my eyes, she's nothing but a complete sly gold digger. So I simply ignored her messages. In this way, the speed of gold digging slowed down. I looked at my cell phone and pondered, is there anything legal? Can I spend money on women? I don't know if rewarding the hostesses counts. With the idea of giving it a try, I immediately opened the live streaming software. Just opened it and saw a female anchor named me. She was flirting with the camera. I casually named her a lonely cigarette. Then I asked in the pop-up screen if I could be her number one brother. But I was greeted with all kinds of taunts from the rewarding Duke. Her number one ranking is over $1 million. You're just a third-level trumpet, you'd better find a class. But I just smiled. This money is much faster to spend than buying a bag. As I pressed the button to send the gift to me, I put my hands in front of my face and thanked a lonely cigarette for sending me the gift. Thanks to a lonely cigarette for the super rocket. But the next moment, he was frozen in place. Because that was just the beginning of the explosion. In less than a moment, I sent out 100 rockets. Even if he is a million popular anchor, he's rarely encountered this kind of situation. That's $1 million. Unless it's during a union tournament. Unless it's during a union match. The union bosses will only give themselves a huge reward. But the union's money is fully refundable. At this moment I sneered. Since I want to pretend. I have to pretend to be a big one. Soon. On the public screens of all the anchors on the platform. They all had rockets flying up. At the same time. A cry of alarm was heard from a building in the city. Something big has happened to the boss. An unknown nouveau riche. Swiped $10 million from me. At that, the boss spurted out a mouthful of water. Are you sure that's not our picture? At this moment in the anchor lounge. Several female anchors are all flushed red. That absolute nouveau riche. Just a few brushstrokes would be worth several years of our salary. In a short while, my private messages exploded. Countless female anchors asked me to meet them offline. Only me is still in a state of euphoria. He even wondered if he was dreaming. Until the operator showed up with a sign. The boss asked him to get a lonely cigarette. Seeing this, me smiled evilly. Such a nouveau riche. How could she give it away? Then she threw a flying kiss at the screen. Thank you, brother, a lonely cigarette. I still have 5 minutes to go off the air. Return the private message, But at this time I had already fallen asleep. Until the next morning. The dormitory building came from the alarm will wake me up. Yesterday, a nouveau riche swiped $10 million. Directly on the hot search. But what I'm puzzled about is, I swiped so much for me. Why didn't I tie up with him? With this doubt, I opened the live streaming software. A sudden private message. Almost shocked me. My lonely cigarette account. Inexplicably gained tens of thousands of fans. What surprised me more was, these 3 usual scruffy guys, suddenly started to clean up. You 3 are in a hurry to go on a blind date. Today is a public class. You can see the goddess Zhao Yuqi up close. Heard that. A beautiful figure immediately appeared in my mind. Zhao Yuqi is an excellent woman. Her family background is unimaginable. In the hearts of many boys, she's even more beautiful than a star. The layers of aura surrounding her. Enough to make anyone feel inferior. But this is exactly what I want. Because if it's hard to get, it means you'll get a lot of money back. Behind me, there are 2 girls whispering about me. Chen Yuan. This guy looks so handsome today. He's not specially dressed for you, right? Lin Shutong blushed slightly when she heard that. I think so. But I was disgusted. It's true that all good-looking people are alike. However, my main concern now is how to bind Zhao Yuqi. But at that moment, a voice suddenly caught my attention. I saw a classmate with 2 lackeys. Zhao Yuqi, beautiful girl. Let's be friends. But the next moment, a hand grabbed him by the collar. Zhao Yuqi's roommate, Wu Xiaofei, holding a pencil. He said, Bastard. You want to die? The man was so scared that he quickly explained that it was a misunderstanding. I just want to join the student union. I just want to consult with my sister. At that moment, I came behind them, MS. I also want to add your friend. What's going on? Compared to Wu Xiaofei's anger, Zhao Yuqi's face was slightly red. The man in front of me doesn't seem to have any fear. Wu Xiaofei scorned him, saying he was more handsome than the last one. Do you also want to join the student union? But I just shook my head. I'm not interested in that. Then why do you want me to friend Zhao Yuqi? I laughed. It's obvious. Isn't it? I want to go after her. When I said that, all the classmates mocked me. This guy is going to have bad luck. But Zhao Yuqi smiled and said, Good. I'll sweep you off your feet. The atmosphere in the classroom was instantly quiet. That high and mighty goddess. Why is she suddenly so proactive to an unknown male student? Why is she suddenly so active to an unknown male student? But what they don't know is, Zhao Yuqi has grown up. Has seen all kinds of guys trying to hit on her. Maybe it's because her aura is too bright. Most guys didn't have much confidence in front of her. But this student showed his feelings straight away. He's really special. Zhao Yuqi looks at her cell phone and mumbles. But Lin Shutong's face is very ugly. I have to take action. Right after class I was surrounded by my roommates. Chen Yuan, you're too good today. You actually got Zhao Yuqi's best friend. When the time comes, can you introduce her little sister to me? I skimmed my lips. We haven't succeeded yet. Don't get too excited. At that moment, taunt came from behind me. You know what you're doing. It was the guy who wanted to be my best friend. I was about to insult him, but the next moment, a white figure. Brother, you're so slow. I've been waiting for you for half a day. Looking at the beautiful girl walking towards me. Everyone was stunned. It seems I don't need to fight back at all. At that moment, Su Lele muttered shyly. Do you like my clothes? You bought it all for me. But I just snatched his hand away. It's not as nice as a woman's. Looking at our intimate appearance, the man was in tears. He couldn't figure out what he was missing. But the next moment, a cry interrupted his complaints. Am I to blame for this? Lin Shutong couldn't stop his tears from falling. Why? I was here first. Who is she? At that moment, Su Lele brought a portrait to me. I stayed up all night to draw it. Feeling her initiative. My heart was aching. This is the first time in my life I've ever received a gift from a girl. But when I looked at his smile, I remembered the girl I tried so hard to impress. But he never looked me in the eye. Now Su Lele, are you trying to pull me down again? When I didn't say anything, Su Lele was at a loss for words. Did I upset you? But I asked her why she gave me this. I didn't wait for her to answer. I snatched the portrait away from her. Compared to your gift, I like you more in person. Feeling the warmth on my wrist. Su Lele's favorability. Su Lele's favorability rating is also soaring. Unbeknownst to me, there's a sneer at the corner of my mouth. You're still trying to pin me down. Now you guys are just tools for me to explode gold coins. Just when my thoughts were racing, a man with glasses suddenly stole my love. Su Lele, didn't you say you were going to get your hair done? Who is this guy? I've been chasing you for so long. I wouldn't even let you touch my hand. Now you're hugging him. Looking at him with tears in his eyes. This man's scent is so familiar to me. Su Lele just stood by with a grim expression on her face. Who are you to me? Who do you think you are to control me? What do I have to do with you? Su Lele's words were very unpleasant. Even I frowned. From this student, I felt like I saw myself back then. Thinking about it, I violently pushed Su Lele's arm away. I didn't realize you were like this. Is it fun to play with a boy's feelings? I don't care about your past. But I don't think you have much respect for me. And you don't respect yourself. And that portrait turned into snow and drifted into the air. Without giving him a chance to explain, I took a big step towards the far side. But inside I was laughing. Su Lele, what are you going to do now? This is a trick to escape. At this moment, Su Lele was already crying like a man. He thought I would be like the other rich kids. He thought I was just playing with her. I didn't realize that I really liked him. She wanted to make me fall in love with him. She wanted me to fall in love with him. But I didn't know I'd flip out on the spot. For a moment, Su Lele felt his heart ache. Because her tears told him she had fallen in love with this man. On the other hand, Zhao Yuqi, the daughter of a rich family, started his live broadcast with a playful mindset. But soon, she was connected by a million popular female anchor. She was connected to a multi-million popular female anchor. I was just about to watch the fun. I didn't realize that the anchor was the same. Me who had just refused my invitation. Now he's looking at the new anchor in front of him. He looked at the new anchor with a disdainful face. You'd better admit defeat. I have a nouveau riche like a lonely cigarette. I have the backing of a nouveau riche like a lonely cigarette. As expected, soon there was a rain of rockets on the public screen. Seeing this, me is so charming. A lonely cigarette is here. Thank you, a lonely cigarette. But the next moment, he was petrified on the spot. What was covered with rockets? It wasn't his studio at all. It was the new anchor opposite him. In just 2.5 seconds, I sent 1,000 rockets to Zhao Yuqi. Zhao Yuqi's eyes were wide open. Even though he's from a rich family. But this is $10 million. He was still shocked. And the female anchor, me. Her back teeth were all clenched. But she didn't give it to me. While she was thinking about it, the operator held up a sign. Asked him to explain the situation to the boss. Seeing this situation, he had to say hello to the audience. And then hurriedly turned off the live broadcast. While I watched the scene. But I let out a sneer. I gave you gifts. It's for your face. How dare you try to make a fool out of me? Then I looked at Zhao Yuqi's live room. Chairman Zhao. I put in a lot of money. Don't let me down. Soon this matter was on the hot search. The mysterious nouveau riche rewarded the new anchor. It reached the top of the charts. Next to his roommate Wu Xiaofei, Chi said excitedly. You're going to become an internet sensation. Zhao Yuqi but beeped a small mouth. I'm not going to be an internet celebrity who pleases men on the internet. I don't want to be one. We women need to be financially and personally independent. At that Wu Xiaofei laughed and said yes, yes, yes. Ms. Zhao is right. But then he said with a nosy look on his face. That won't be some nouveau riche who is pursuing you, right? Zhao Yuqi, however, put his head away. I'm not that shallow. But he swiped so many gifts. I still need to send a private message. To thank him. But the next second, Zhao Yuqi let out a cry of surprise. This nouveau riche. I think I really know him. Looking at this eye-catching, dog-head avatar. It's the same Chen Yuan who asked for contact information this morning. Seeing this, Zhao Yuqi immediately started to think of something. Chen Yuan must be the son of a plutocrat. Although he grew up in a wealthy family. But he's a low-profile person. He always pretends to live an ordinary life. And with an elite education. Must have had enough of being looked up to by others. He just wanted to live freely. Until this day, he met the girl he loved. So he decided to pursue her as an ordinary man. Hearing this, Wu Xiaofei was puzzled. Is a person who swipes $10 million with his hand called an ordinary person? But Zhao Yuqi didn't listen to what he said. He grew up in a rich family. But he pretends to be an ordinary person. It's hard, isn't it? I must thank him for that. On the other hand, I had just gotten out of the shower. I got a message on my cell phone. What I didn't expect was Zhao Yuqi would actually contact me. He asked me if I was free. Said he wanted to invite me to dinner. I was puzzled. He didn't ask me where I got the money. What kind of drugs is this Chairman Zhao selling? The next day after school, I got on my favorite donkey and went to pick up Zhao Yuqi. Just a few steps away. I ran into an old man waiting for his goddaughter by the side of the road. He laughed at my poor appearance. Don't look at me. You have to work hard to earn money. Otherwise, all these beautiful young women will be picked up by our uncle. They'll all be picked up by our uncle. At that moment, Zhao Yuqi appeared in front of the school and looked around. The moment he met my eyes, Zhao Yuqi instantly blushed and his heart raced. In his eyes, I looked like a rich man's son. I looked like an ordinary person who is in pursuit of true love. And the man beside me, he's still bragging about it. Young man, when you can afford to drive my car, then you'll be able to chase such a beautiful girl. But before he could finish putting on an act, Zhao Yuqi sat in the back seat and left with me. Seeing this situation, he fell to the ground with a look of self-doubt. What's the use of all the money I've made? At this moment, Zhao Yuqi in the back seat was already in turmoil. He's never been short of suitors. But this is his ideal love scene. While Zhao Yuqi was thinking about it, I've already brought him to the promised place. Soon we ordered 10 caddies of spicy crayfish. Then I started wiping the table for Zhao Yuqi. But such a small gesture. He saw it as a gentleman's gesture. Treating people in such a moderate manner. A little too much is like being attentive. A little less is cold. Obviously he's a very strict family man. But the next moment, I ate it all in one big bite. But to Zhao Yuqi this is a rare thing. He's so rich that he still eats street stalls with me. Must be hoping that I won't feel pressured. Chen Yuan, you're really a gentle flower in the mountains. Just when I was eating happily, the system suddenly indicated that Zhao Yuqi's favoritism towards me had increased. My lady, what have you imagined? Without waiting for me to think, Zhao Yuqi handed a peeled shrimp to my mouth. Then she blushed slightly and said, Chen Yuan, thank you, let me help you peel the shrimp. And this action made me lose my mind instantly. I used to want to see this scene. Just when I was about to open my mouth to eat the shrimp, my ex-girlfriend came in with his yellow hair. Lin Shuhao's eyes widened when he saw this scene. Am I dreaming? Zhao Yuqi was actually feeding Chen Yuan shrimp. Then he began to wonder inwardly. When did Chen Yuan become so capable? First he took care of Su Lele, and now Zhao Yuqi. To avoid embarrassment, Lin Shuhao turned his head and said to Yellow Hair, Junkai, let's go somewhere else to eat. There are too many people here. But Yellow Hair took him in his arms. He's afraid that he'll meet someone he knows. I like to eat in crowded places. Then Yellow Hair came straight behind me. He threw out a few $100 bills. Here's $500. Give me your seat. Seeing that I didn't do anything, Harry threw out another 1,000. That's enough, isn't it? You bootlicker, get out of my way. However, this action. But Zhao Yuqi could not stand it any longer. Fucking hell. Who the hell is this big idiot? Interrupting my perfect date. Zhao Yuqi was just about to get mad. A cold voice rang out from behind us. Fucking hell. Huang Junkai eats my food and lives in my house. How dare he use my money to pick up girls? I saw a 200 pounds rich woman behind us. Said angrily. This statement directly scared Huang Junkai's people. Qin, why are you here? However, the rich woman shouted at him angrily. If I hadn't found out, how much longer will you go behind my back? Hearing that, Yellow Hair hurriedly explained that everything I have is from you. How could I betray you? Then he grabbed Lin Shutong's hair. It's all your fault, you bitch. How dare you seduce my boyfriend? Lin Shutong cried out in frustration. It's obvious that you asked me out first. And you said you were single. But before he could finish his sentence, Yellow Hair slapped him. Lin Shutong, who was on the ground at the moment, was completely dumbfounded. Huang Junkai, how dare you hit me? However, Huang Mao did not want to let him go. He opened his hand to hit him again. But suddenly a big hand grabbed his wrist. A big man bullying a little girl. You do not want to be ashamed enough? Seeing the scene, Lin Shutong was moved to tears. Chen Yuan really does love me. As Lin Shutong's favoritism towards me continues to rise, the system suddenly prompts to congratulate the host on his success. Target number 2. Lin Shutong has officially become the host's loyal bootlicker, and my body has also been strengthened to a certain extent. Immediately, I easily grabbed Yellow Hair with a grappling hand. The furious Yellow Hair picked up a bottle and swung it at me. The next moment, he was knocked out with the bottle. I sent him flying with a punch. Huang Junkai, it's not enough for you to be a softie, but also hit a woman. You really deserve to die. By now, Huang Junkai had gone completely crazy. He took out a knife and stabbed at me. I grabbed Huang Junkai's wrist. I threw him out with an over-the-shoulder slam. I threw him out. Then I took Zhao Yuqi and left without looking back. But at that moment, Lin Shutong hugged my legs and said, Chen Yuan, I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? Can we start over again? Hearing this, I was silent for a while. Which Chen Yuan are you talking about? The one who carried you to the emergency room at 2:30 in the morning. The Chen Yuan who carried you to the emergency room at 2:30 in the morning? Or the one who saved up for half a year to buy you a new cell phone? Or the Chen Yuan who knew you were vain? Chen Yuan who knew you were vain and still believed that you would come back. Unfortunately, all these Chen Yuans have been killed by your own hands. And my words deeply hurt Lin Shutong. At this moment he realized. She had completely lost someone who used to look at him with eyes full of him. After returning to school, I apologized to Zhao Yuqi and said, Chairman Zhao, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting our meal because of this nonsense. Zhao Yuqi was all smiles. Just call me Chi-Chi. I didn't realize you had such a dark side. I just smiled awkwardly. The god of pure love is now completely dead. And my behavior. Zhao Yuqi has become more and more interested in me. On the other hand, Lin Shutong returned to the dormitory in tears and kept talking about it. She was comforted by her roommate who said, so you know about it too. I didn't realize. Chen Yuan is actually a hidden rich kid. He actually paid $1 million to Zhao Yuqi. He swiped over 10 million gifts for Zhao Yuqi. Lin Shutong was thunderstruck when he heard that. More than 10 million. Really? It must be true. The news has spread throughout the school. When he heard that, Lin Shutong froze in place. Thinking of all the times he's humiliated me, Lin Shuhao couldn't hold back his tears any longer. On the other hand, I was just about to take a shower. Suddenly realized that I had grown 8-pack abs. I didn't realize that the system only rewarded me with a little attribute. The system could make my body so perfect. I don't know which woman I'm going to get in trouble with. But right at this moment, Su Lele suddenly called me. Did this woman think of something else? She's got a new trick to get me? So I picked up the phone and asked, Su Lele, what do you want? But on the other end of the phone came the sound of her crying. Chen Yuan, I really don't know what to do. At the same time, somewhere in the middle of the city, Su Lele was crying in her messy room. Chen Yuan, only you can help me. Can you lend me $500,000? Su Lele's family used to be quite wealthy. But because of her father's gambling problem, he owed a lot of money. That's why she's so materialistic on the surface. In fact, she's just trying to pay off her family's debts. Of course I didn't believe her bullshit. But I still asked for her bank card number. Su Lele didn't expect me to be so nice. He sent me his card number right away. And within seconds, his bank card received a transfer of $5 million. This made Su Lele look shocked. How could it be so much? But I smiled and said it was nothing. I just pressed an extra zero. As soon as the words left my mouth. On the other end of the line came Su Lele's happy squeals. At the same time, her favoritism towards me increased. Then Su Lele said with tears streaming down her face, Thank you. Chen Yuan, I will definitely repay you. What puzzles me is, Su Lele's favoritism towards me reached 90, and stopped moving. You still can't get him? Why don't you try confessing your love? But then I thought, I don't think it's feasible. After all, in this game of bootlicker, whoever reveals their needs first is in a weaker position. Early the next morning, I was just about to go to class with my roommate. But I was stopped by a voice behind me. Chen Yuan, I brought you breakfast. Let's go to class together. As soon as Lin Shutong spoke, another voice came from the side. You and Jej, I brought you breakfast too. I even made you seafood congee. But just as Lin Shuhao and Su Lele were going head to head, I was stopped by a voice from behind me. One of them is a glamorous schoolgirl. One is the daughter of a top family. One is my ex-girlfriend who just dumped me. Now she's fighting to bring me breakfast. And as the daughter of a rich family, Zhao Yuqi, naturally, she has an overpowering presence. Whether it's on the outside or on the inside, she is far beyond her peers' existence. This made Lin Shuhao and Su Lele instantly felt the pressure. At this moment, Zhao Yuqi is like a dominant figure in the ring, looking at them with contempt. In response, Lin Shuhao and Su Lele were sweating coldly. Is this the feeling of oppression from the number 2 school beauty queen? Just when the three of them were at a standstill, I took the beef noodle from Zhao Yuqi's hand. How did you know I like this? Zhao Yuqi smiled sweetly and said when we ate crayfish. I saw that you like spicy food, so I guessed you'd like this too. Authentic spicy beef. I smiled at that. It's been a long time since I've been cared about so much. Thank you, Chi-Chi. Inside, I was thinking that I'm worthy of being Chairman Zhao. Observing so meticulously, he's able to win without moving a muscle. At this moment, Zhao Yuqi is looking very pleased with himself. Of course you have to know what the other party likes to eat when you give them breakfast. I'm not like some people who are only hypocritical. And Su Lele and Lin Shutong are like defeated mothers. Like defeated hens. They can only sit on the sidelines in impotent rage. They didn't realize Zhao Yuqi's little trick. Zhao Yuqi's little trick would give them a headache. At that moment, Zhao Yuqi took out a gift box and handed it to me. Chen Yuan, I can see that your cell phone is very old. This is this year's iPhone 18 Pro Max. I'll give it to you. The three roommates were all dumbfounded by this scene. Countless bootlickers have always given gifts to Zhao Yuqi. This is the first time they've seen him give a gift to a boy. This was even worse than the death of their own father. Lin Shuhao and Su Lele on the side. They are also amazed. This top-of-the-line iPhone 18 costs tens of thousands of dollars. But Zhao Yuqi just casually gave it away. This is undoubtedly the ultimate move for the two of them. Instantly KO'd them. At this moment, I was embarrassed and smiled. It's not a good idea to give such an expensive gift. Zhao Yuqi, however, blinked her eyes. I'm willing to spend any amount of money on my favorite person. Looking at me and Zhao Yuqi, we were laughing and joking. Lin Shutong and Su Lele had mixed feelings. It's a tough road to pursue. Class time passed by in a flash. Lin Shuhao was walking towards the dormitory with a dejected look on his face. If there was only one Su Lele, he was still confident that he could get me back. But now there is another Zhao Yuqi. With her qualifications, she's not even in the same league as him. Just as Lin Shuhao was thinking about it, Su Lele appeared. Behind her, let's find a place to talk. Lin Shuhao's eyes turned cold. We have nothing to talk about. It's all your fault, you bad girl. Seducing my Chen Yuan. Su Lele, however, smiled slightly. How about an alliance? Lin Shutong looked puzzled when he heard that. What kind of alliance? An alliance, naturally. To fight against our common enemy, Zhao Yuqi. Otherwise, when they confirmed their relationship, do you think we still have a chance? They just gave me the latest iPhone 18. I turned my back on her. I bought the schoolgirl a mansion with tens of millions of dollars. I thought I could easily control her. I did not expect. The schoolgirl's favoritism towards me was only 40%. As expected, she's the top goddess in the school. She knows that high-end hunters always appears as a prey. But it's a pity that you met me at this moment on campus. I'm holding an iPhone 18 in my hand and I'm having a lot of thoughts. I've only met Zhao Yuqi 3 times. She's so generous. She gave me such an expensive cell phone. If it wasn't for the system's hint, I would have thought that the schoolgirl had fallen in love with me. What I can do now? I can only think of a new way to walk through Zhao Yuqi. Just when I was thinking nonsense, I suddenly received a message on my cell phone. It's the anchorwoman I've rewarded with $1 million. Me, she thought she could get me with her fish farming skills. She thought she could easily control me with her fish farming skills. I did not expect. I gave 10 million to the female anchor who was playing against her. She was scolded by her agency boss for 3 days and nights, and was given a death order to empty my wallet. It was me who sent me an apology message. A lonely cigarette. It's not like you couldn't meet her last time. I'm just a little bit sociopathic. When I saw the message, I laughed coldly. What kind of attitude is this? He didn't even send me a few cool pictures. Do you really think I'm a big asshole? I just wanted her to send me some cool pictures. I got a new message on my cell phone. The person who sent the message claimed to be the top one of me, and invited me to join their fan group. After seeing the message, I was so excited. Is this the legendary nouveau riche group for anchors? I've been wanting to join for a long time. And as I joined the group chat, all the nouveau riche inside expressed their warm welcome. I also politely boasted to them about their business. I said it was all just a little money. We just wanted to have fun. At this moment, a gentle breeze is coming. Sent me a message. Cigarette Man is really generous. There's a deal here in Underling. I wonder if Cigarette Man can take care of it. I know what he's up to, the purpose of this guy. He just wants to test me, to see if I'm a union trustee. Then I replied, I can't say I'll take care of you, but I can still help. Add me as a friend and chat privately. Soon after, a gentle breeze is coming sent me a private message. Said he had a villa he needed to sell, and asked me if I was interested. After seeing the address of the villa he sent, I almost couldn't hold my cell phone steady. Jiangkou district is known as a rich district. The villa can cost tens of millions of dollars. In the past, I'd have to work since I was a caveman, before I could afford it. Now that I have the bootlicker system, I have everything I need. So I said yes without even thinking about it, and said I'd go see the house tomorrow. In the meantime, a villa in Jiangkou district. A bald guy was so excited. This kid really wants to buy it? Are we wrong? The boss on the other side is calm. Don't get excited. We'll see if he's rich or not. A moment later, I received the address of the villa from a gentle breeze is coming. Seeing the address information above, I have a new idea in my mind. If I send a villa to Zhao Yuqi, I wonder how much his favorability will increase. Just because his parents owe $500,000. The schoolgirl is ready to sell herself to me. I thought my life was over. I didn't expect to transfer $5 million to him. Su Lele, who had never seen so much money before, was touched. She really does have me in her heart. But it was only the second day. I spent $100 million. I bought a mansion for a woman I just met, in order to get back the man she loves. Su Lele decided to team up with my ex-girlfriend. With my ex-girlfriend. to take me back from Zhao Yuqi. On the other hand, in order to walk through Zhao Yuqi, I decided to give her a mansion, to boost her favorability towards me. And, soon, Zhao Yuqi and I arrived at the rich villa area in Jiangkou. Seeing this situation, Zhao Yuqi looked curious. Chen Yuan, why did you bring me here so mysteriously? But I smiled, and you'll find out later. At the entrance of a magnificent villa, a bald guy and his female assistant have been waiting for a long time. After seeing me appear, he quickly waved his hands to welcome. Looks like this is the legendary cigarette man. I'm sorry to have missed you, but what he was thinking inside was, this young man looks ordinary, but his female companion is so elegant. Is it possible that this guy is the child of some movie family? I smiled. No need to be so polite. Let's get straight to the point. At that, the bald guy did not talk too much. Stretch out his hand to introduce himself. My humble Hong. Because of the recent financial difficulties, I'm ready to sell this villa. Then he invited Zhao Yuqi and me into the villa. Then he started to introduce us. The whole villa is 500 square meters. The usable area is 2,000 square meters. The decoration is designed by a famous British designer. The whole house is customized with imported Italian furniture. Then the bald head went to the balcony. Look at it again. Both the scenery and feng shui, both are excellent. If not for the lack of money, I was ready to bury myself here. After listening to the introduction, Zhao Yuqi was shocked. A mansion like this would cost tens of millions of dollars. Even though he's from a wealthy family, but to buy a mansion of this caliber, he still has to consider himself. But I'm not impressed. I don't think so. The view is nice. Don't waste your breath. Just ask for the price. The bald man pretended to be in a difficult situation. If it wasn't for the lack of money, I really do not want to sell. But if Cigarette Man likes it so much, I have no choice but to give it up. Then he held out a finger. I originally planned to sell it for $100 million. But in order to make friends with Cigarette Man, I'll sell it to you for $60 million. What do you think? Hearing that, I sighed. But it made the bald head look nervous. Did you overestimate the price? It's hard to fool a nobleman. The next moment, I said something that made the bald head feel like a heavy blow. Mr. Hong, don't be so polite. Just sell it at the original price. The bald guy and his assistant were shocked. Damn, I should have told you to sell it for $200 million. Then I looked at Zhao Yuqi behind me. Chi-Chi, do you think you should buy it? Zhao Yuqi held his chin. He looked puzzled. Why are you asking me to buy a house? But I smiled. Because this house is for you. When I said that, the bald guy beside me was a little bit weak. $100 million mansion is given away just like that. What kind of power and wealth is that? And Zhao Yuqi, when he heard I was going to give him a mansion, he was also panicked. Even if you're rich, there's a limit to how rich you can be. How can you give him a $100 million mansion? And you're giving him a $100 million mansion? Is this a trap he's planning? The purpose is to make me fall into the trap, so that I can become his plaything? The more Zhao Yuqi thought about it, the more scared she became. My favoritism towards me is decreasing. The first time a teenager uses his black card to spend money recklessly. The schoolgirl by the side felt a shiver down her spine. Cold sweat. You know, it's only the 4th time we've met. I spent a lot of money to buy him a $100 million mansion. The schoolgirl's favorability towards me was still a little bit. Is dropping. In his opinion, I definitely have some ulterior motives. He even thought, I'm going to be held in an extremely humiliating position. In an extremely humiliating position in the dungeon. Unbeknownst to him, I've awakened the full-level bootlicker system. As long as I spend money on women, I'll get 1/10th of a cent back. While Zhao Yuqi was thinking about it, I gently held her hand. Chi-Chi, don't get me wrong. Isn't there a housing restriction recently? I have too many properties under my name. I just want to put my name on your house. And I'm doing this. I just want to give my favorite person a home. Hearing this, Zhao Yuqi's face instantly blushed. And then began to fantasize. Isn't the real estate partnership? Isn't that something only legal couples can do? Is Chen Yuan proposing to me? We've only met a few times. And he's already building a love nest for us? He's so overbearing. I love it. Not waiting for him to think more, I continued gently. With our relationship, do we still need to distinguish between each other? What's mine is yours. That, Zhao Yuqi shyly looked away. At the same time, his favoritism towards me is also soaring. In just a few seconds, Zhao Yuqi's favoritism towards me has reached 90%. I've been acting with such passion and skill. It would be hard not to award myself a gold medal. On the other hand, the female assistant rubbed her bald head with her hand. Boss, look at how generous she is. When are you going to give her a set? Hearing this, bald head is sweating profusely. Once upon a time, he also wanted to be so generous in front of a girl. But he couldn't afford it. A few moments later, I used my black card to pay a deposit. A deposit of $10 million. The rest of the money will be paid when the bald head completes the transfer procedure. At that, Baldhead waved his hand happily. He said he'd do it for sure. After all this, Zhao Yuqi and I took a cab back to school. This scene made the female assistants envious. For a man of cigarettes, how can he take a taxi? He's so frugal. I wonder if he still needs a secretary. On the way back to school, the more I thought about it, the more excited I got. Now Zhao Yuqi is still 5 points short of favorability to become my loyal bootlicker. The thought of getting $10 million in cash back by then. I was so happy. And Zhao Yuqi is also thinking about it. In her opinion, the next thing I'm going to do is to confess my love. And then propose. Chen Yuan is so gentle and considerate. He'll be a good husband and father in the future, right? And what should we name our child? When he's old and demented, will he forget me? Just when Zhao Yuqi was about to walk through herself, the cab had arrived at the school's entrance. I reminded him that it was time to get off. You should get off now. Zhao Yuqi was surprised. Why don't you get off? I waved my hand. I'm meeting my roommate for a game at the internet cafe. You can go home first. Then I took a cab and left. Only Zhao Yuqi was left in the wind. She's in a daze at the moment. That's it? Where's the promised confession? What about the proposal? On the surface, she's a bright and beautiful schoolgirl. In reality, she lives in a rented room of less than 2 square meters. In order to pay off her father's gambling debts, Su Lele sold herself to me for $500,000. But I transferred $5 million to him. I thought $5 million would be enough to clear all my debts. But the same day the lender came to my door. The $5 million was just the principal. There's still $20 million in interest to be paid. Turns out that just now after saying goodbye to Zhao Yuqi, I went to the internet cafe. I went to the internet cafe to hack with my roommates. When they saw me arrive, my roommates hurriedly urged me. Chen Yuan, what took you so long? Get online and fly with us. Lao Zhou's reverse queue is really bad. I waved my hand confidently. Don't worry, I'm gonna turn on the computer. I'll show you what I'm capable of. Then I went to the front desk of the internet cafe. I was gonna turn on the computer and take my sons to kill the world. I didn't realize. The cashier was Su Lele, who I hadn't seen for a long time. In his situation, how could he come to such a messy place? To work part-time. Su Lele was surprised to see me. Then he explained that his father owns this internet cafe. To thank me for helping him pay off his debt, Su Lele immediately offered me a lifetime membership. I could play as long as I wanted. I was about to say no. There was a loud bang behind me. A big gold chain holding an iron bar. He said fiercely, "You're old Sui's daughter, right? When will you pay back the money your father owes us?" Su Lele looked furious at that. Didn't he already pay you $5 million? How can he still be in debt? The big gold chain smiled and laughed. $5 million is just the principal. There's still $20 million in interest to be paid. Hearing this, Su Lele was furious. He borrowed $1 million from you. It's enough to pay back $5 million. Where's the interest in that? You're just blackmailing. The big gold chain grabbed Su Lele's wrist. If you can't pay it back, come with us. With your looks, you should be able to pay back in less than 2.5 years. At that moment, I rushed to the back of the big gold chain. I grabbed his wrist and said, "She's my classmate. That's enough. Give me face. Get lost." Seeing this scene, Su Lele was touched. He helped me again. But the big gold chain was furious. "Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me to give you face?" Then he attacked me with his underlings. I was shocked. After strengthening my body, it's easy to deal with a few underlings. Then I did a dragon wagging its tail. The dragon wagging its tail directly kicked the big gold chain out of the room. This scene made the 3 roommates stare in disbelief. "That's right. Chen, when did you learn the roundhouse kick?" And with a few easy moves, I took out a couple of underlings around me. This again made the 3 roommates' jaws drop. No wonder we're still bronze. The real powerhouse has brought the game into reality. And the big gold chain, who was beaten up, can only drop a harsh words that you have the guts. Then ran out of the internet cafe without looking back. After a few people left, Su Lele jumped into my arms. "Yuanjej, you saved me once again." At the same time he spoke, his favorability towards me went up to 95. And after he became my loyal bootlicker, I also got 530,000 cashback on my purchases. Who knows that this scene was seen by my ex-girlfriend Lin Shutong, who was passing by. Lin Shutong pointed at Su Lele and yelled at him. "We agreed to work together. But you hide here to seduce Chen Yuan to eat alone. You sly gold digger. Die for me." So I said. The 2 of them exchanged insults for 2.5 hours in the internet cafe. Seeing this situation, I directly put all the attribute points I just gained. I put them all on agility. Then I disappeared into thin air. I'm coming. My 4th target of affection has finally arrived. But what I didn't expect was, her boyfriend was the underling who bullied me every day in high school. Seeing this situation, I let out a cold laugh. "Since we're in the same boat, I'm going to beat you in the best way possible." Turns out that just before, I've just turned Su Lele and Lin Shutong After successfully turning Su Lele and Lin Shutong into my bootlickers, I felt a void inside. Now Zhao Yuqi has become my loyal bootlicker. It's only a matter of time before he becomes my loyal bootlicker. I must find a new target of affection as soon as possible. Otherwise, when the time comes, I'll end up with no one to please. Just as I was lost in thought, I heard a beautiful voice from behind me. Can you please step aside? I saw a girl in a tracksuit. Said slowly behind me. The playground has been requisitioned by our sports club. The game is about to start. Can you please move over? After seeing the girl, my eyes lit up. I did not expect. Sports club has such a beautiful girl, but she seemed a bit fierce. But I didn't care. I just handed over my cell phone. It's okay to give way, as long as you add me as a friend. But before I could say anything else, a rough voice came from behind me. Do you want to die? Then a man with an inch head blocked the girl behind him. How dare you hit on my girlfriend in front of me? You've got a lot of guts, don't you? You want to eat toad's meat like a swan? Why don't you take a look at yourself? When I saw the man's face, my face instantly turned dark. This guy, isn't he the school bully who bullied me every day in high school? 2 dogs? Because he and I both fell in love with Xiao Nua the class flower. I was beaten up by him for 3 years in high school. Since God has brought us together again, let's have our revenge today. At the same time, the system also sent me a mission. Operation Bootlicker is official. Opened and successfully bound to He Ing a host. Target of affection #4. Successful walkthrough will gain 22 reinforcement points. Seeing this situation, I smiled. The reward for this revenge quest is so good. Dead inch. You just watch. I'll turn your girlfriend into my bootlicker. Soon. All the contestants have arrived at their respective tracks. This time, the race is the 100-meter race. The inch-haired man was very proud of this. After all, in the school sprint, he's never met any rivals. In the audience, He Jin has turned into a fangirl. Go for your husband. You're the best. While I crouched silently at the periphery of the track, I'll let you run 99 meters first. With the referee's gunshot, the man with an inch head is like an arrow that has left the string. Rushed out at high speed. Seeing that the others were left far behind, the inch-haired man was so proud of himself. A bunch of ants dare to fight with me. They really don't know what they're talking about. Seeing that the inch-haired man was about to reach the finish line, I kicked my feet into high gear. I quickly chased after him. In just 2.5 seconds, I overtook the inch man. I was in the first place. The best thing in the world. There's nothing better than beating someone in a way they're good at. The first time a man ran in a 100-meter race. All the teachers' jaws dropped. Because it's a speed that students shouldn't have. The world record for the 100 meters is only 9.58 seconds. But I did it in less than 9 seconds. I thought I was doing it to show off. To join the national team. But I didn't realize I was doing it for revenge. The school bully who used to bully me every day. Just now, the man with an inch head rushed out first. I thought I could win. But the next second, a black shadow quickly overtook him. Liang, I'm not someone you can bully anymore. Now you'll feel the pain. The pain of losing in your best field. Then I accelerated the gas again. I instantly lost a dozen meters to Liang. Seeing this, Liang's veins were suddenly bulging. He would never allow. There's a man at school who's faster than him. Thinking of this, he immediately lifted his whole body seal, according to the past situation. He didn't even need to use his full strength to be ahead of the pack. Now there's a man who's even faster than him. Naturally, he's going to use his full strength to fight me. Bastard. Today I'll show you what it means to be a god. I'll show you who's the fastest man in the world. But he's just broken the seal. But there was no sign of me in front of him. While he was looking around, I passed behind him again. Can you do it? This scene made Liang go numb. It's only been a few seconds. This guy is already a lap ahead of me. I laughed coldly at this. Liang, you've been practicing hard for 5.5 years. How can you beat the bootlicker system? The enhanced attribute points I got from the bootlicker system. At the same time, the crowd in the auditorium was abuzz with excitement. Oh my god, is this a flying man? In just 30 seconds. He ran the whole lap in just 30 seconds. In front of his speed. Even if the flash came, would have to be defeated. Listening to the host bragging, I was so happy inside. A man faster than me has yet to be born. And this scene. He Ing, who was standing by the side, was dumbfounded. This guy is actually faster than Liang. Soon I was abandoned by my classmates. The host was even shouting with excitement. This year's Olympic gold medal in sprinting is assured. This moment, the coaches of the track and field team came over and said, I see you have a lot of talent. Do you want to join our track and field team? I'll recommend you to join the national team. These words directly scared Liang to tears. Didn't the coach promise to give me a spot? I've worked so hard for so many years. You can't go back on your word. But I refused the coach's invitation. Said I was just running around. I wasn't interested in joining the track team. But I was so light-hearted and relaxed. To He Ying it was particularly attractive. I didn't think so just now. Now I think this boy is quite handsome. Just when He Ying was thinking nonsense, Liang walked up to him. What are you staring at? He Ying hastened to argue that there is no such thing. I'm just a little worried. However, his favoritism towards me is increasing. Feeling all this, I let out a sneer inwardly. It seems that the goddess of the walkthrough sports department is easier than expected. The schoolgirl doesn't like rich and handsome, but she likes men who are fast at everything. However, the fastest boyfriend in her eyes is now easily surpassed by an ordinary classmate. In order to win over the schoolgirl, I even broke the world sprinting record. But what I didn't expect was, because of this incident, the principal was going to expel me. In the girls' dormitory, Zhao Yuqi returned to the dormitory full of joy. Seeing her happy face, her roommate Wu Xiaofei asked Chi-Chi curiously, "Why are you so happy today?" Zhao Yuqi was so proud of herself. "How do you know?" "Chen Yuan gave me a house." Hearing this, Wu Xiaofei looked puzzled. "You've only met a few times. And he gave you a house?" "That's right, we're gonna look at houses today." "Xiaofei, check the price of houses in Jiangkou district for me. I'm worried that Chen Yuan will be slaughtered by that fat bastard." Wu Xiaofei was shocked by what he said. A house in Jiangkou would cost tens of millions of dollars. Chen Yuan just gave it away. Why can't I meet such a good thing? However, he just took out his cell phone to check the price of the house. But he saw something that shocked him even more. He saw an article about Chen Yuan being a top playboy with dozens of friends. A post about Chen Yuan being a top playboy with dozens of hookups was on top of the school's forum. Seeing this scene, Zhao Yuqi and Wu Xiaofei were dumbfounded. They didn't realize that the usually low-profile Chen Yuan was actually a top playboy. Meanwhile, in the boys' dormitory, my roommate also handed me the content of the post. Who's making up rumors about me? I'm obviously a prodigal youth, okay? But when I think about it, I guess I've been too high-profile lately. Apparently, someone is not happy with me. In another male dormitory, several students were gathered in front of the computer, showing a look of lewdness. The post finally caught fire. Now Chen Yuan's reputation is over. Let's see if any girl will dare to like him in the future. At this moment, Liang suddenly appeared behind the three of them. He almost scared them out of their wits. "What are you 2.5 sneaking around here for?" The guy with glasses is so proud of himself. "Liang, you're back. Recently, there's a guy named Chen Yuan in the College of Liberal Arts who's very arrogant. We're working on him now." Liang went to the computer to take a look. It's the same guy who just disgraced himself. The guy who just humiliated himself in the competition. And after learning my name is Chen Yuan. Liang also recalled. "This is the guy I beat up every day in high school." Liang smiled proudly. "This guy went to the same high school as me. He was the famous bootlicker in our school. I still have a lot of bad information about him." Upon hearing this, several roommates hurriedly brought chairs and Liang. "Take your time. This time we're gonna kill this kid." And Liang is also smiling coldly. "Even if he wins the game, so what? It can still make you lose your reputation." Soon after, more about me appeared on the post. The top Playboy member has been in many different relationships, by objectifying women, and often suppressing women. Please keep your eyes peeled. Don't fall into this guy's trap. The owner has corrected a tip from a source. Chen Yuan's girlfriends. They didn't do it of their own free will. They were harassed by him and forced to cope. According to the source, Chen Yuan in high school. Chen Yuan was known as the three-headed bootlicker from hell. There were more than 100 girls who were chased by him, even some from high school to now. As the heat of the post continued to rise, all the students and teachers at the school learned about it. It also reached the principal's office. The principal slapped his cell phone in anger. "Outrageous. The school will not tolerate this kind of black sheep. I have to investigate this matter myself. Once it's confirmed, Chen Yuan must be expelled." The director also agrees. "Next time you should smash your own cell phone. I'm just a bootlicker, but my classmates rumored me to be the top playboy. Not only did they objectify girls, they even forced me to become their girlfriends." When the principal found out about this, he decided to expel such a loser like me. But the schoolgirl said in front of him, "I'm a hero who protects the city." My ex-girlfriend even cried and said that I was a good person. He didn't deserve it. Even the department flower brought her father. She brought her father to present me with a banner, to thank me for my bravery a few days ago. Turns out that just now, in order to investigate the authenticity of the post, he brought Zhao Yuqi, the third-ranked girl in the school, to the conference room for questioning. I didn't realize that I'm a top-ranked playboy. In the eyes of the school beauty, I'm like a hero. Although he comes from a famous family, but he likes to be righteous and generous. And he's always there to help people out. And when faced with injustice, he would stand up for himself. He'd stand up for the weak and teach those ignorant clowns a lesson. Whenever the night falls, he would become a messenger of justice, to punish all the darkness in the world. He is mysterious and powerful. But he has always been a silent guardian, protecting this city full of desires and sins. That's why I think Chen Yuan is a great hero. Upon hearing this, the two questioning security guards were confused. Classmate, the hero you're talking about is Zhuge, right? And what makes you say he's a hero? Yan Zhao Yuqi's expression instantly became serious. Based on my intuition as a schoolgirl, after the inquiry, the principal didn't quite believe Zhao Yuqi's testimony. But the director said, Zhao Yuqi as the student council president, she wouldn't be able to lie. After hearing that, the principal decided to bring in a few more students for questioning. He can't believe there's anyone better than him in this school. Soon after the bell rang, Lin Shutong, his ex-girlfriend, was stopped by two security guards. Hello, classmates. We have something about Chen Yuan. We need your help in the investigation. Soon after, Lin Shutong was taken to the school's interrogation room. After learning that I was accused of being a host playboy, he immediately broke down and cried. Chen Yuan is a good person. It's because I'm vain. It's because I'm indecisive. I'm not good enough for him. As he spoke, Lin Shutong began to break down emotionally. Chen Yuan is the best guy I've ever met. If I had another chance, I will never let go of him. The security guard was full of questions. So Chen Yuan dumped you, but you still think he's a good guy? Lin Shutong wiped his tears. Of course he's a good guy. He didn't do anything wrong. I deserved it. I lost the person who loved me the most. After listening to Lin Shutong's testimony, the principal left the interrogation room with a sad face. I didn't realize there was actually a man in school who was better than him. When he was young, he was not as suave as he was. Handsome and dashing. He had 1,000 girls chasing him, if not 800. Nowadays, the waves of the past are pushing the waves of the future. While the principal was fantasizing, a man and a woman carrying a banner toward the principal's office. The principal greeted them happily. He thought to himself, I'm not old yet. There's still someone sending him a banner. But Su Lele opened the banner. Smiling, he said, Hello, Mr. Principal. I'm Su Lele from the art department. This banner is from Mr. Chen Yuan from the College of Letters. For his bravery the other day. Upon hearing this, the principal was shocked. Damn, it's not for me. 1 minute I was rumored to be a top playboy by my classmates. But the next moment, I became the school's most popular boy. Not only did my classmates and faculty beauties help me out, even the principal honored me in front of the whole school. In front of the whole school. In the face of this sudden honor certificate. I was confused. Didn't they all say I was the top playboy? Why is the principal praising me? Turns out that just now, the principal saw Su Lele. After seeing the banner that Su Lele sent to me, he also learned about my suggestion at the internet cafe 2 days ago. And how can a student with such a high moral character? How could a student of such high moral character be a morally corrupt top playboy? Thinking of this, the principal immediately took out his cell phone, ready to confirm the authenticity of the post again. Who knows that at this time, campus forums had already changed their comments about me. Some girls even said that if I was a playboy, then please give him a real fight. And as more videos of me surfaced, no one could believe this sunny and handsome boy in front of me is a playboy. Even some girls after seeing my face, some girls openly confessed in their posts that this is Chen Yuan. So handsome. I love it. I love it. How can such a sunny boy be a playboy? Can you rumor mongers be any more outrageous? There are also many girls who said that even if I were a playboy, she likes him too. Of course, there are also many sensible girls who say, the better a boy is, the easier it is for him. The more likely he is to be. Jealousy. We all believe Chen Yuan is innocent. Looking at the girls' favorable comments about me in the post, the principal is also full of questions. This is not a playboy. He's just a popular guy, right? Then the principal immediately showed a feeling of sympathy for me. He showed a feeling of sympathy for me. It seems that Chen Yuan was just like me back then. He's just as brilliant as I was back then. As the school's favorite. Although he was liked by girls everywhere. But also because he was too handsome. He was always jealous of his male classmates. He was often accused of having an early love affair by his classmates. The homeroom teacher called him to the office and criticized him. Thinking about this, the principal immediately shed 2 tears and said, Chen Yuan, I understand you. Then the principal suddenly changed his expression. Don't worry. I will definitely give you justice. Our university's a genius. Forever unyielding. Can't be subjected to this kind of injustice. Soon the principal gathered all the students and teachers in the playground and honored me with an award. Confused, I was called up to the podium. The principal spoke at length about the students. Recently, the campus forum. There have been some rumors about Chen Yuan. But after I checked, these are all rumors. They are all slanderous. Today, I'm here to prove to Chen Yuan that he's not only a good student, he is also willing to help others. He's even done a lot of heroic deeds. But he hides his accomplishments. What a noble soul. What a great personality. Speaking. The principal handed us a certificate of honor. Let's learn from Chen Yuan. To be useful to society. Hearing these words, teachers and students on the stage applauded enthusiastically. They all chanted follow my example. Learning from me, but I was confused. Why did I get a certificate of honor for no reason? And Liang on stage was also confused. He said he was going to lose his reputation. How to go on stage to receive the award. The more Liang thought about it, the angrier she got. He almost bit his back teeth to pieces. At this moment, a round of applause caught Liang's attention. His girlfriend's eyes were glowing as she looked at the podium. So cool. And at the same time, I also received a system alert. He Ying's favorability has increased. Seeing this situation, a cold smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. I only made a slight move. I knew the signs of this gym girl. The school bully who once bullied me like a dog. Now he can't even raise his head in front of me. Even his girlfriend, the school's favorite, after seeing me, she didn't hesitate to break up with him. And the reason for all this is just because I'm faster. Just now, the principal honored me in front of the whole school. He Ying's favorability towards me is also rising sharply. I thought I was just a fast runner, but I didn't realize I had such a noble side. Liang was furious. How could he tolerate his girlfriend applauding another man? So after the ceremony was over, Liang found He Ying. I want an explanation. What do you mean by applauding that Chen Yuan guy like crazy? What does that mean? Upon hearing this, He Ying got angry right away. Liang, are you out of your mind? I just admire Chen Yuan. What's wrong with that? Then he said with glowing eyes. We're both ordinary college students. Chen Yuan has done so many good things behind the scenes. Chen Yuan has quietly done so many good deeds behind the scenes. And he's obviously very talented in running. But he still refused the coach's invitation. He chose to return to the ordinary. Such a mindset of indifference to fame and fortune. Such a noble personality. Any girl would adore him, right? Hearing this, Liang immediately became angry. He grabbed He Ying's wrist. Chen Yuan couldn't beat me before. He can't beat me now. Nor will he in the future. He Ying said with tears in her eyes. He Ying said Liang with tears in her eyes. Stop it. You're hurting me. However, Liang didn't stop moving. Instead, he increased his strength. Chen Yuan. He's nothing but a useless dog under my foot. So what if the coach likes him? I'll let him know. In this society, you're only as good as your money and power. My dad can buy me a Tesla. Chen Yuan, what does he have? As soon as he spoke, I passed by them on the phone. Why don't you drive over and pick me up? I like to keep a low profile. Don't drive a car that's too expensive. But before I could finish my sentence, a Rolls-Royce pulled up on the side of the road. Then the bald head got down from the car. With a flattering face, he said, Agu, it's my fault for coming in such a hurry. I'll be more careful next time. Then I was greeted by Liang's shocked eyes. I was invited to get into the Rolls-Royce by the bald guy. Looking at the exhaust of our car, He Ying said to Liang with a disappointed look, since you don't trust me, I think we should break up. At that moment, Liang was already petrified. How can she listen to him? No way, no way. Chen Yuan is obviously a useless bootlicker. On the other side, Baldhead and I took a car to the real estate exchange. I didn't say much. I just swiped my credit card. I paid the final payment for the villa to Baldhead. After receiving the transfer, Baldhead was overjoyed. Cigarette Man is so generous. I'll take you back to school. But I refused outright. I'd rather take a taxi. Your car is too flashy. On the way back, all I could think about was how to walk through Zhao Yuqi. So I took out my cell phone. I was gonna ask Baldhead, is there anything else I can sell? At that moment, the group had already exploded. Just see. Baldhead said in the group, Cigarette Man is really something. Just waved his hand and solved my cash flow problem. Not only that, he even gave his sister the villa. This is what kind of atmosphere, ah. Seeing that he was bragging in the group, I immediately replied that you are too polite. It's just a small favor. After seeing me talking in the group, a person with a famous car avatar immediately asked me, Cigarette Man, do you still need sports cars? I have a channel here. When I heard that, my eyes immediately lit up. Why didn't I think of that? I can also send a sports car to Zhao Yuqi. The first time a man bought a car for a schoolgirl, the owner of the sports car store was shocked, knowing that the treasure of his store is only a Ferrari Lafa. But I just said I wanted to buy a Bugatti to give as a gift. Turns out that just now, I was thinking about how to completely walk through the schoolgirl Zhao Yuqi. I received a message from a group. I saw a person with a famous car avatar asking me, Cigarette Man, do you still need sports cars? I have a channel here. When I heard that, my eyes immediately brightened up. Why didn't I think of that? I could send a sports car to Zhao Yuqi. So I went to the man's sports car shop. I went to the man's sports car store. At that moment, a handsome man in a suit approached me. My name is Zhang Haotian. My family has a small business. I'm glad to meet Cigarette Man. After seeing the postcard from the man, I was surprised. This Zhang Family Corporation. It's a big name in our city. Not only does it have excellent car-making skills, it produces enough cars every year to circle the globe 2.5 times. It's also involved in the shipbuilding industry. Can be said that Zhang Family Corporation is the biggest company in the city. And this kid is a top-notch rich kid. So I started to brag to him about his business. I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Zhang. So young. To run such a big car dealership at such a young age. You're so young and promising. When I praised him, Zhang Haotian was so happy. Cigarette man, you're too kind. Just call me Zhang. Then he showed me around his dealership. Cigarette man, don't tell me. I have the best selection of luxury cars in town. There's nothing you can't think of. There's nothing I don't have. Who knows the next moment? I said I want to buy a Bugatti. Zhang Haotian was dumbfounded. What do you mean you want to buy a Bugatti? Cigarette man, you're so funny. It's a top-of-the-line sports car with a limited edition of 20. When I heard that, I waved my hand and said, you don't have one here. Then I told him about a few other top-of-the-line sports cars. Of course, he didn't have any. Zhang Haotian was sweating profusely at the moment. Cigarette man, the cars in my small store. The total price is between $2 million and $9 million. See if there's anything you need. I turned around to see how. I don't have the car I want. Zhang, your business is not that big. When Zhang Haotian saw this, he was so determined. It seems that we must offer our own treasure of the store. You can buy a villa. I don't believe you can buy a sports car. Then he went to a sports car covered with a car coat, cigarette man. Although I don't have any of the cars you mentioned. But I still have an expensive car here. Then he lifted the coat and came out. The treasure of my store. The next second a brand new Ferrari Laffa instantly caught my eye. Although this car is not as good as the ones I mentioned earlier. But it's still one of the top cars in the sports car world. Then, Zhang Haotian was so proud that the total price of this car is $22.5 million. I wonder how you're going to respond to that, cigarette man. I've been thinking about it for a while. This car is not expensive. But it should be a good gift for Zhao Yuqi. Otherwise it's too expensive. I'm afraid he won't. He won't accept it easily. Thinking of this, I immediately patted Zhang Haotian on the shoulder. It seems that taking out a $20 million car. That's your limit. I'll take the car. Please take it to number 1, Riverview Villa. Then I handed him my black card. Swiped the card. My cell phone suddenly rang. I saw my roommate Lu Wenjia calling me. I just picked up the phone. On the other end of the phone, there was a heartbreaking roar from the other end of the phone. Atomic I damn actually was green. The best brother was green. But I am very happy. Because I just need a little hand. I can make my best buddy's woman kneel in front of him in repentance. Turns out that just now, I just spent more than $20 million to buy a Ferrari for the school's flower. But I received the news that my good brother Lu Wenjia was turned green. And the cause of the incident. It all started on his birthday. His girlfriend agreed to accompany her girlfriend to get her hair done. But Lu Wenjia waited for half a day. But he didn't see his girlfriend come back. Worried that she had gone out without an umbrella. So he went out with an umbrella to pick up his girlfriend. But he just arrived at the school gate. But he saw a scene that tore his heart apart. Next to a Mercedes-Benz. His girlfriend was kissing a guy with a pockmarked face. She was kissing a guy with a pockmarked face. It was at this moment. Gave Lu Wenjia a kind of illusion. Obviously, they were the ones who got wet. But he was the one who got drenched. At this moment he realized. In this relationship, he is nothing but a clown. Lu Wenjia became more and more angry. Why should a true heart be let down? Is it wrong to be a bootlicker? From now on, as long as I'm pleasing enough, I will no longer be a bootlicker. I'm a sea dog. And it hurts him. But the pain is in my heart. This is the same scene. Is not the same as when Lin Shutong abandoned me. I had been courting her for 2.5 years. But she didn't hesitate. She got into Yellow Hair's Mercedes-Benz. Thinking about it, I said, don't drink any more. You've already had 8 bottles. Look on the bright side, there are plenty of good girls. But before I could finish my sentence, Lu Wenjia again bootlicker possession. Adam, is there something I didn't do well? Is it too late for me to go back to her? Hearing this, I was furious. Hurry up and get your head out of your ass. She's the one who's wrong. You're not the one who's doing well. Pick up your self-respect. Don't be a bootlicker anymore. Lu Wenjia stumbled when he heard the words, a few steps backward. Then he fell to his knees. I understand the reasoning, but I just can't let go of the 2.5-year relationship. I can't let go of him. I sighed when I heard that. You just can't let go, right? You still think he was just an impulse. You think he's still a good girl, right? I took out my cell phone. I called Zhang Haotian. Today I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to teach you what it means to be a bootlicker, to please in the end. There's nothing left. Lu Wenjia looked puzzled when he heard the words. Adam, what are you doing to teach me a lesson? I did tell him not to care so much. Everything is under my control. I will make Liao Jia kneel in front of you to repent. And then, I said to Zhang Haotian on the other end of the phone. Zhang, I'd like to borrow a couple of multimillion-dollar cars. I'll have a few trustworthy people drive them over tomorrow to give me a good show. Zhang Haotian didn't say much. No problem, Zhang Haotian will arrange it for you tomorrow. Then, under Lu Wenjia's puzzled gaze, took out another cell phone. Is this Lele? Are you free tonight? I want to see you. Listening to our conversation. Lu Wenjia looked surprised. Why does Sonoko seem to be different from before? I remember he was a bootlicker like me. The time soon came. 8:30 p.m. Su Lele immediately jumped into my arms. Su Lele immediately jumped into my arms. You and Jej. I've missed you so much these days. Then he poured me some pulses. This scene made my best friend look dumbfounded. A phone call. Called a girl who looks like 8 points. I know her. And now it seems Chen Yuan is the one being courted. Then I looked at Lu Wenjia. This is my good brother. Su Lele was puzzled by what he said. You and Jej, you called me out at this time of night. You didn't call me out at night just to introduce me to your good brother. Did you? But on second thought, is this to introduce me to his personal circle? Chen Yuan really does have me in his heart. I smiled at that moment. Of course not. I want you to help me put on a good show tomorrow. We're good buddies. 1 minute he's dumped by his girlfriend because he's poor. And the next moment, he's taking the schoolgirl for a ride in $1 million luxury car. His ex-girlfriend was in disbelief when she saw this. No way, you're just a bootlicker. How can you drive a Ferrari? What he didn't expect was, the rich kid he worked so hard for, is actually packaged. Turns out that just now, after learning that his good brother Lu Wenjia was betrayed by his girlfriend, in order to let him know that there is no end to reclamation, turning back is the shore of truth. I decided to ask Su Lele to cooperate with me to put on a good show. At this time on a highway, a sports car is speeding. In the car was Liao Jia, my best friend's ex-girlfriend, and her new lover Pocky Face. While they were laughing and joking, a red Ferrari suddenly overtakes them from behind. In the blink of an eye, the Ferrari was already in front of them. It was about to rear-end them. Pocky Face hurriedly stepped on the steering wheel and braked. This action almost caused him to crash into the greenbelt. Seeing this situation, Pocky Face immediately poked his head out. Damn you, do you know how to drive? But the next second, he then hardened his next dirty words, to hold back, only to see that the red Ferrari's passenger suddenly stretched out a slender hand. And then, Su Lele stepped out of the car with elegance and grace. Seeing this scene, Pocky Face immediately spurted out a mouthful of blood. This red high heels and red hip dress, combined with her beautiful face, is just like his dream girl. At this moment, the main driver's door of the Ferrari slowly opened, only to see Lu Wenjia with a cigar in his mouth, with a big gold chain appeared in front of them. Seeing this situation, Liao Jia was shocked. He never thought the owner of this Ferrari was actually his ex-boyfriend. At this time, Su Lele hugged Lu Wenjia with a pouty face. You scared me to death. You just bought her a new car. Almost got hit by this guy. Lu Wenjia said awkwardly, it's okay. It's okay. If it's broken, I'll buy you a new one. Hearing this, Pocky Face was also shocked. Lu Wenjia, this bootlicker, is not a hidden second generation of rich people. Liao Jia, on the other hand, did not believe it. Then he questioned Lu Wenjia. You don't have to put on a show here. We've been talking for 2.5 years. How can I not know your family conditions? It's true that it's my fault that I love you. But leaving aside the facts, it's not wrong for you to act to disgust me today? Zhang Haotian, who saw the scene, felt bad. Ning seems to have been recognized by this woman. But I smiled calmly and was fine. The next part is the main event. As soon as I spoke, the roar of dozens of sports cars suddenly resounded through the whole highway. In just a few moments, dozens of sports cars filled the entire highway. At that moment, a white-haired man stepped out of the car and said, Wenjia, what are you doing here? Then he looked at the pockmarked face. Ego, isn't that Pocky Face? Do you remember who I am? At the sound of his voice, Pocky Face spat out a few words in a shaky voice. Brother, bye. Okay, let's go. I came behind Liao Jia. He said, did this guy tell you that his family has a mine? Then he said he studied in Japan. To tell you the truth, this guy is just a pretend rich kid. He's just a little white boy who cheats money and sex all over the place. I didn't expect such a poor tactic. I can't believe a retarded woman would fall for it. It's really laughable. And you don't even look at yourself. Do you think a rich man would fall for you? Do you think a rich man would fall for you? Only a fool like my brother Munchel would fall for you. Hearing this, Liao Jia was shocked. She didn't want a real rich kid to go with a fake. Isn't this pure stupidity? The rich kid wants to give the hostess $10 million in gifts. But when I checked out, I had to pay. I thought that would reveal my identity as a fake hero. But I threw my cell phone at her. You can use my cell phone. Don't save me any money. Turns out that just now, after revealing Pocky Face's scam to pick up girls, Liao Jia pointed at him in anger and cursed him. You son of a bitch. How dare you cheat me? I'll kill you right now. But Lu Wenjie, a good brother who saw this scene. But he looked so sad. The once beloved girl. Now because of money and other people's men to change their face. Thinking about this, Lu Wenjie greeted Su Lei without looking back. Turn around and leave. But he just turned around. And realized that he couldn't move his eyes. Only to see his ex-girlfriend Liao Jia. Liao Jia, his ex-girlfriend, was hugging his thighs with tears in her eyes. Wenjie, I was wrong. Can you give me another chance? Don't leave me behind. I'm not vain. I'm just scared of being poor. The result. Lu Wenjie directly threw away his hand with a kick. Then he turned around and said coldly, I have been pleasing you for 30 months. But you turned me green because of a fake rich kid. From today onwards, you and I are done with each other. Don't ever contact me again. Then he left without looking back, leaving Liao Jia in a state of remorse. As for Pokyface, when he saw that the situation was not right, he was about to turn around and run away. But the next moment, he crashed into my pectoral muscles. Where are you going? To make my good brother so sad. If you don't slap yourself a few hundred times, don't even think about leaving this place. At that, Pokyface didn't dare to resist. He slapped himself for 2.5 hours. Afterwards, Zhang Haotian and I went to a bar nearby to have fun. We went to a nearby bar to have fun. After clinking glasses, I thanked them for their help. Thanks for your help today. I'll drink to that. Heard that. Xiaobai immediately made a polite greeting Zhang Haotian. You're kidding. Zhang Haotian's friends are our friends. Then he came to my side. Whispered. I've heard that Zhang Haotian is a tycoon on the live platform. Underling has a small favor to do. I hope Zhang Haotian can help me. When I heard that, I looked puzzled. What's the problem? You're a rich kid who can't handle it. I rubbed his fingers together. Underling has a favorite anchorwoman. He wants to upvote her. But I've used up all my family's allowance this month. I wonder if Zhang Haotian can help. The other rich kids. They also looked at each other wistfully. When I saw the scene, I knew what they were up to. These rich and powerful guys always like to look down on others. They want to see if I'm really powerful. When Zhang Haotian saw my face sinking, Zhang Haotian explained immediately. Don't take it seriously. Xiaobai, this guy is so blunt in his speech. Ignore him. I slammed my glass on the table. Looks like it's time to give these guys a good show. The other guys are looking like they're having fun. So you're gonna get angry and start fighting? Who knows? I unlocked my cell phone and threw the phone in front of Xiaobai. I just need to go to the restroom. You can use my number to swipe whatever you want. Remember not to save me money. Otherwise I'll get angry. After that I walked towards the restroom. With the bootlicker system I don't need this much money. Then I unzipped my pants and started to let go. The muscular man on the other side. He looked at me with curiosity. The next moment, as if he had seen something unbelievable, he froze on the spot. Compared to his little sparrow who was stronger than him, I was like a dragon in the sky. Seeing this, the muscle man gave me a thumbs up. Now he finally understands what it means to be skinny in clothes, and meaty when you take off your clothes. After returning to the bar, Xiaobai and the others gathered there. I don't know what they're talking about. He's sweating profusely as he stares at his cell phone screen. It's already at 16 million. Do you still want to continue? Behind him, a group of rich kids. Behind him, a group of rich kids are shouting, go on. What are you afraid of? It's not your money. At that moment, I pushed my way in from the outside of the crowd. What are you doing? We're surrounded by people. After seeing me back, Xiaobai said Zhang Haotian with an excited face. You're finally back. Please save the child. I really don't know what to do. When I heard that, I took my cell phone and looked at it. I've been on the toilet for so long. You spent less than $20 million. You're trembling with excitement over this small amount of money. Hearing that, the rich kids around us were immediately confused. $20 million is not a small amount of money. Cigarette man, you don't run a bank, do you? At this moment Xiaobai took he breathed a long sigh of relief. I usually only want to spend a few $100,000. I can't even think of spending tens of millions of dollars. In this moment of time, I've already spent money on several sports cars. But I'm not satisfied. No, you've spent too little. I'll make it up to the nearest dollar. Less than 200 million. Don't stop hearing that. Xiaobai's face turned white with fear. Immediately grabbed my cell phone. Smokey. Enough, really enough. He really does not deserve to receive so much money. Please withdraw your power. Zhang Haotian put his arm around Bai's shoulder. Now you know the power of Brother Smoke. Let's toast to Brother Smoke. I've given you a taste of what it's like to be a superstar today. At that moment Bai raised his glass of wine. Brother Smoke, he said righteously. This time I am completely convinced. I hope you can forgive me for what I've done. From now on, you're the only one I look up to. Seeing this, the other rich kids also raised their glasses at once. Zhang Haotian is awesome. On the other side, a few women dressed in fancy clothes saw this scene. The one with white hair. He's the youngest owner of Bai's real estate, Bai Qilin. He's actually giving a toast to someone else. At that moment, my cell phone suddenly rang. I saw me, the anchorwoman I haven't talked to for a long time. She sent me a message. So I stood up and said to the crowd, let's continue to have fun. I have something to do, so I'm leaving. Let's meet again next time. Looking at the back of my departure, Xiaobai and his gang were in a trance. A great man is a great man. Their backs are different from ordinary people. After coming outside, Mi sent me a message at the first opportunity, a lonely cigarette. I've arrived in Seoul. I can't wait to meet you. When I saw the message, I laughed coldly. I've left her alone for so long. It's time to harvest her favor. Meanwhile, at the airport, Mi swore to look at this strange city. It's just a meeting. As long as I give off a little bit of charm. I don't care what kind of cigarettes you have. You'll be a leg in my fish pond. Turns out that just now, Mi received an ultimatum from the company. Even if he has to give up his life, he must take me down. After all, what I do in a day is more than his top 10 list combined. Mi was confident. With her beauty, any man in front of her will be turned into a mouth by her. Soon I met Mi. We met at a cafe near the airport. That moment, my ex-girlfriend Lin Shutong sent me a message, asking if I could start over with her. Looking at this screen full of small essays, my thoughts went back to the night Lin Shutong broke up with me. I had written dozens of composite essays for her, but all I got in return was her comment that you're a good person. Now we've swapped our identities as bootlickers. Then you should walk the same path I once walked. And seeing my absent-minded look, Mi was not happy at all. A living, breathing beauty is right in front of you, but you're just playing with your cell phone. Damn, but the next moment, she put on a different face, a lonely cigarette. Don't just play with your cell phone. She's not as pretty as her cell phone? At the same time when I was talking, his personal information panel also appeared in front of me. Mi's original name is Su Ihan. But what I didn't expect was, his favoritism towards me was actually 60%. This also led to his favoritism towards me being too high. I couldn't bind him as my target of affection. Seeing this situation, I almost broke my defense. Damn, there's still this kind of operation. Then all the money I've spent will be wasted. I can't do that. I have to lower this bitch's favoritism towards me first. Then I picked my nose and said, Mia, it's time to tell you something. In fact, I'm now a complete pauper. My father's company is bankrupt by me. I also owe the bank several hundred million loans. Mi is a face of disbelief, a lonely cigarette. Don't laugh. He came all the way here. He didn't come all the way here to listen to you. But I just grabbed his hand. In fact, there's a more important thing today. Can you give me back a portion of the money? Can you give me back some of the money I gave you earlier? When he heard that, Mi's defense was broken on the spot. He shook off my hand. You don't have money, why are you pretending to be a rich man here? And you've been flirting with me so many times. At the same time, his favoritism towards me dropped 80 points. And Mi is getting more and more angry. She took out her cell phone and was ready to call someone to teach me a lesson. He said to the other end of the phone with a sly gold digger look on his face. Blue Grasshopper, I'm at the cafe outside the airport. I'm being harassed by a pervert. Come and save him. When I saw this scene, I let out a cold laugh. I've seen many real women, but this is the first time I've seen a woman so capable of reversing right and wrong. I've never seen a woman so capable of reversing right and wrong. 2.5 minutes later, a blue-haired man with a wazoo in his mouth kicked open the door of the cafe. How dare you? Dare to molest my woman? When Mi saw blue hair appear, immediately pounced on Brother Blue. You finally came. I'm so scared. Who knows? Blue hair came straight to me. Why are you here, Smokey? We're really destined to meet. Then blue hair pointed at himself. I'm the same Blue who toasted to you yesterday. Seeing this situation, anchorwoman Mi was petrified on the spot. How could Mr. Lon be so polite to this guy? You know that Mr. Lon. He's one of Seoul's richest men. Now he's calling himself Blue in front of me. You can imagine how terrible my identity is. When I think about it, Mi immediately stammered. Mi immediately explained to Mr. Lon. I didn't know that a lonely cigarette actually knew you. But when he finished his sentence, Blue angrily slapped the table. How dare you call my brother Cigarette a pervert? Do you know? Brother Cigarette is my big brother's big brother. His money can bury your ancestors for 20 generations. Mi's eyes widened when he heard that. A lonely cigarette was just pretending to be a pig eating a mouse. But I thought he was a poor loser. Thinking of this, his face a cold no. I have to take back. Even if it means giving my life to him. Immediately, Mi immediately put on a pitiful look. Brother, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it just now. Forgive me. Okay? As soon as he spoke, the system immediately sent me an alert. Successfully bound me as target of affection. Seeing this situation, my eyes flashed and I was finally bonded. Let's see how I'll handle you. Then I picked up a cup of tea and took a sip. You're too young. I was just joking with you. Mi immediately got excited at the words. I knew it. A lonely cigarette loves people. At the same time, his favoritism towards me was growing. Seeing this scene, I had a sneer in my heart. As expected, she is a top anchorwoman with millions of popularity. As long as you have money, everything is easy to say. But unfortunately, I won't let you off so easily. At this moment, Lan suddenly slapped the table angrily. I, Zhang Haotian, have given you millions of tickets. How dare you treat him to a piece of coffee? Then he looked at me with an attentive face. Zhang Haotian, as the saying goes, it's better to meet by chance. Lan will be the host today. I know a place with good food. Zhang Haotian, you must honor me with your presence. I didn't refuse. As the saying goes, you're a bastard if you don't eat. Afterwards, Lan politely invited me to his car, and me on the side. Naturally, she wouldn't miss the chance to get in touch with me. She immediately yelled that she wanted to go with me. Then on the way to the restaurant, obviously the back seat is so big. Me insisted on squeezing into my side. Seeing that I was indifferent, me said a lonely cigarette. You're not still mad at me, are you? He knows he's wrong, but I didn't pay any attention to him. Instead, I took out my cell phone, opened the live streaming program, and I went to the live room of a female anchor with a 5 out of 10 face, then slowly opened his gift backpack. See the scene. Me was shocked. Is he going to? But he did not wait for him to think too much. I rubbed my backpack's rocket button. I was rubbing my backpack's rocket button for 2.5 minutes. With just a few strokes of my fingers, the millionaire anchorwoman fell for me. In 2 seconds of rubbing my cell phone screen, I could have swiped thousands of super rockets. Thousands of super rockets. And this speed of upvoting is enough to drive any girl crazy about me. Turns out that just now, in order to teach me a lesson, I looked at other female anchors in front of him. Not only that, I also swiped more than 5,000 rockets. I fired more than 5,000 rockets at him. When the female anchor saw this, she froze in her tracks. As a new anchor, he had never seen such a scene before. This gift share, enough to buy 10 suites in his hometown. The more the female anchor thought about it, the more excited she became. Finally, she fainted. Seeing this situation, behind him, his sister hurriedly shouted to call the 120. My sister has never seen so much money in her life. At this moment, watching this scene, me is also a face of disbelief. The speed of his hands is almost bursting the screen of his cell phone. And even if ordinary people have this speed, they don't have the strength. The more me thought about it, the more he regretted it. If it wasn't for the fact that he was looking down on others, then these thousands of rockets would have been his. And he knows very well in his heart, I was swiping in front of him, just to tease him. But even so what? After all, the speed at which I swiped money, enough to drive him crazy about me. The more me thought about it, the more excited he got. In the end, he increased his favoritism towards me by 60 points. And looking at his face like he was in love with me, I was sweating profusely. Is this stupid girl suffering from some kind of cat disease? I give gifts to others. He was able to increase his favor. Afterwards, under the guidance of Lan, we went to the most famous private restaurant in Seoul. Black Pearl followed. Lan happily introduced Brother Rock. It's a reservation system for members. It's also very private. The most important thing is that this restaurant has 3 major selling points. Upon hearing this, I was immediately interested. In addition to good food, in addition to the beautiful view, what else is there to sell? At that, Lan immediately kissed my ass. Worthy of being Zhang Haotian. She guessed 2 of the selling points right away. As for the third one, you'll find out later. Soon we arrived at a pavilion. A woman was sitting on a stone bench, playing the zither with both hands. Ran pointed to the woman and said the third selling point is the owner's daughter Zhao Yuqi. I was sweating profusely when I saw this scene. What the hell is Zhao Yuqi doing here? At that moment, Zhao Yuqi in the pavilion saw me. He just wanted to greet me, but in the next moment his eyes suddenly widened. He saw a pretty woman, holding my arm intimately. Seeing the scene, Zhao Yuqi became furious. He accidentally broke the kodo in his hand. At the same time, his favoritism towards me dropped by. When Zhao Yuqi thought of the past, Yuqi's eyes immediately shed 2 lines of tears. So this guy, he's just like those rich boys. Seeing the scene, I'm not good at all. I'm still a little bit short. I was able to walk through Chairman Zhao successfully. How can I turn the car around at such a critical moment? Thinking of this, I immediately chased after Zhao Yuqi's figure. After chasing him for 2.5 minutes, I thumped him into a corner of the courtyard. At that moment, Zhao Yuqi was already sobbing uncontrollably. Why did this playboy toy with my feelings? Let go of me. A moment ago, the schoolgirl. She denounced me as a playboy who cheats on her feelings. But the next moment, he hugged me around the waist. He told me never to leave him, because I told him I had a reason why I had to be a scum. Turns out that just now, Zhao Yuqi saw me and I were hugging each other. He ran out in disappointment. Seeing the scene, I realized I was in trouble. I was about to walk through him successfully. How could I turn the car around at such a critical moment? I immediately chased after him and thumped him in the corner of the courtyard. Seeing that Zhao Yuqi's favorability towards me is about to fall out of favor, I had to use my own killer. Then I said with deep emotion, Chairman Zhao, have you ever seen the richest man in the West Rainbow City? But Zhao Yuqi didn't want to listen to my nonsense. Instead, he criticized me for cheating on him. I cheated on him. In response, I lit a huazi. You should have been wondering. I'm from an extraordinary family. But why do I have to be ordinary all the time? In fact, my family is a movie family. And there is an unwritten rule in the family. The heir to the family must be 18 years old. He must spend $10 billion in 1 month. Only then can he inherit the family's entire fortune. For this reason, I could only spend money after I turned 18. I had to spend money on various projects. And philanthropy. I even started a campaign to protect the Earth's environment. That is to move the South Pole to the North Pole. And that girl just now is the main girl that I rewarded. I'm one of those people who spends money so that I can continue to spend money. I'm just playing along. I took Zhao Yuqi's hand in mine. No one else knows about this but you. I don't expect you to forgive me, understand me, but I've kept this secret in my heart for too long. Now I'm tired. So be it. Then I turned around and left without looking back. And looking at my lonely figure, Zhao Yuqi immediately began to walk through herself. I was being unreasonable. He's exhausted from trying to inherit the family fortune. But I doubted him indiscriminately. Thinking about this, Zhao Yuqi hugged me around my waist. Chen Yuan. Don't go. Don't leave me. Okay? I was wrong to blame you. I heard you say that. I put my palm on the back of Zhao Yuqi's hand. Finally, I'm over it. Feeling the warmth from my palm. Zhao Yuqi looked happy. He even told me the secret of his family's inheritance. Chen Yuan really has me in his heart. With Zhao Yuqi's self-walkthrough, his favorability towards me instantly rose to 92 points. After Zhao Yuqi was done, I took him back to the inner courtyard at the first opportunity. At that moment, Zhao Yuqi was apologizing and holding my hand. She apologized and said to Nam that I was out of line. I interrupted everyone's meal. Chen Yuan's friends are my friends. Then let me treat you all to this meal. Hearing that, Ran's eyes lit up immediately. It only took 2.5 minutes to get it done. It's worthy of being my Zhang Haotian. But me, on the other side, is all gloomy. Damn! How dare you steal a man from me? You act like you're the queen of the palace. It's not certain who will win. Then me took the initiative to attack a lonely cigarette. You haven't introduced us. Who is this sister to you? Zhao Yuqi looked disdainful when he heard that. And you call her lonely cigarette? Auntie, didn't my Chen Yuan tell you his name? Besides, he's not as old as you, right? Stop nagging me. Zhao Yuqi's aura at the moment. He's like a bird of prey in the 9th heaven. Me is no better than a chicken in front of him. Ran was sweating profusely as she watched this scene. A Dozong powerhouse is really terrifying. This is a completely different level of fighting.